everybody, my name is Cheri. Welcome to my stamp studio. I'm going to do a tutorial for you, but before I do, I'm going to show you a couple of different things. The first thing, I'm going to show you just a couple of cards that I've done recently at some tutorials that you may have missed. This first one is a little Easter tutorial. I did it with Friends of the Forest and Abstract Beauty. My favorite part of this card is that I made some little itsy bitsy Easter eggs, and I know they're really hard to see on camera. They're so cute in person. On my blog, there's an up close photo of them, so head there to see that, and then you can watch the tutorial to see how I did it. So easy, and any child, any adult would be so happy to get this because it just brings a little smile to your face. Same with this one. This is a happy card, so if you missed this one, it's my magic magnetic slider. It's so much fun. In fact, it impressed my future son-in-law. He was really impressed with the little bit of magic to it. So that tutorial is up. And then this one is up too. This is one of the bundles that is in our January to June mini catalog. It's just very springy. What's more springy than tulips, right? I have my windows open today. So the people behind us are getting their fence repaired, so there's that noise. And then, you know, there's always the dogs and the birds and all that. But this card is a fun spring card. Now, the card I'm going to show you today, I'm going to use the Quiet Meadow bundle. It is on sale this month for an additional 20% off. Now, bundles that are new to a catalog are always 10% off, so it's another 20% off of the 10% off bundled price. It is one of the bundles that's featured in my upcoming online spring retreat. Now, when I do a retreat, I always have 3 featured bundles. You don't have to get the bundles. You can substitute if you have something similar. And there are some similar-ish bundles to this one that we've had or still currently have. They're kind of seasonal, so there was a fall one, and you can kind of make it work. The retreat focus this time is on using specialty papers. So the card I'm going to do today, I'm going to use this bundle, and then I'm also going to use specialty papers. So this is one of them, and then the other 2 bundles, and these are both tutorials that I've recently posted as well. These are not retreat projects. It's just kind of to give you an idea of what we'll be doing in retreat. The other one is Seascape, also 20% off. And the other one is Welcoming Window, also 20% off. So when you do the retreat, you can have those. You can pick 2. If you choose to get all 3 as part of the retreat, you also get a free folder. So I'm going to show you 2 folders today if you're getting all 3 of them and you want to pick a folder. Or you can just get the card supplies if you already have them, because these are older sets. They're not brand new. Older, like introduced in April or May of last year, so it's not like they're antique or anything. But I just wanted to point those out. The retreat information link will be underneath the video, or if you're on my blog, you can find it there, or if you're in my email list, you can find it. Now with this, the Quiet Meadow bundle, I love the stamps, but look at all the dies. You get a ton of dies. There are, does it say? It doesn't say right there. I'd have to go back to the back page. But there's a ton of them. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 huge flower dies, 2 butterflies, 2 tags, a little reinforcer thing. I'm not even going to use them all on today's card, and it's going to look like there are a ton of dies because we're going to do that little bouquet. And we're going to also use a lot of specialty papers. So here is a card. I got this one in a swap, so I didn't make this one. And this one just uses 2 of the dies, and it also has some specialty paper. And the same 2 stamps actually all the stamps that I'm using today. And then this one, this tutorial is on my channel. I'll have it, I was gonna say I'll have it flip up. Sometimes it's hard to find the old ones, but you can search Quiet Meadow on my channel. This was one I made last spring when the set first came out. So it was a real fun technique, and I spritzed color onto my Stamparatus just to have a plastic background, and we created our own specialty paper. So for this card, I'm going to use, here's the stamp set. I'm going to use the On the Horizons paper. So this paper is fabulous, and I have used it a bunch to make kind of horizon cards. Some of my favorite, this is one of my favorite pieces. That's actually the one I was looking for, because that's the one I was going to use, and I was going to do like some flowers on the horizon, but I didn't see it. I thought I was out of it. I also like the other side of it. I guess I have even more. Well, you know, This is daylight savings week and we lost an hour, and I'm blaming all of my Disney moments on that because that's the one I was looking for. I couldn't find it. So I switched the whole card up because I couldn't find the piece of paper, and I went with this one. So we're going to use this, and when I couldn't find it, I decided not to do a Horizons card and to use this piece of paper. And you know, I said in my retreat, we're going to use specialty paper. So I'm going to use a piece of our pearlescent paper. It's one of my favorite papers of the papers we have. So I've got that, and then this is crushed curry. That's going to be our background. So I'm going to stamp this first just because it takes a minute to dry, and then we'll do a bunch of die cutting. So I have the stamps in this set. I'm only going to use 2 ink colors. I'm going to use Evergreen and Bumblebee. And the reason I'm using Bumblebee and not crushed curry is very simple. On March 23rd, our retired list comes out, and Bumblebee is a retiring color. And I wanted to remind you that if you're on my email list on March 23rd, I will send you the link to that retired list. But in color things, they do tend to sell out quickly, especially refills and cardstock of the most popular colors. I don't anticipate that Bumblebee cardstock will sell out quickly, but some of the more popular ones, and they may even sell out before the retired list hits, because in this new supply chain issue world we live in. So I am just kind of filling this up with this really fun little background. It's just random words. It says breathtaking, growing in the garden, paths of roadside, the wildflowers. It doesn't really read anything. It's just kind of typed words. And it's all going to get covered up. This one I did more than on my other one because on the other one I kind of lost it. We're going to need this again later, but I wanted to stamp this so it could dry. And then I'm going to take my Bumblebee and this fun splatter. And again, I'm going to overdo it. And I'm just going to kind of go to the edges because it's all going to kind of, a lot of it's going to get lost back in there. So these places where I know the first time I did it and I put my flowers on, then I was like, well, and I tell you guys that all the time when you know you're going to cover something up, to overdo. So now we'll just kind of let that set aside. I'm going to add a couple more to this, which I didn't do the first time. Just kind of to the edges. Just so it kind of looks like the water out in the garden roadway kind of oversplattered our card. And we'll just set these aside and let them dry. Now the pearlescent, if I ran my hand over, especially that evergreen, it would smear right now. In fact, you probably can't see it, but I can see the ink sitting on there wet. So you do need to let that dry. You can heat set it if you want. Now here's the really fun part to this card. It does take a few passes through the machine. One thing I love about, it's not even new anymore, but our new cut and emboss machine is that it's wide. So this is a 6x6 piece of paper, and we can get it all on here at once. So I'm going to take these, and I'm going to use this to create the colors of my flowers. So I'm going to put this one down here because I want that one to all be green. I'm going to put it as close as I can get it to the bottom. And then I'm going to try to put my stems so they hit green. And then flowers hit that. And they're not going to all fit on one pass, but that's okay because I want 2 of these. So kind of go down to where you get stems and then you get flowers. And it's not perfect. And again, it's all going to kind of get covered up. Not all get covered up, but, and it's art, right? So it doesn't have to be perfect. Don't get hung up on the perfection of it because it's art. Put that a little closer. Now my cat's talking to the birds. Everybody's got to get reacquainted again after spring. So let's roll this through. So for my retreat, it is online and it does take place over a weekend. So from Friday to Sunday, I post videos, but you do not have to watch them live because you will have access to them forever. And in fact, I won't be there live. I set them to do it ahead of time because I try not to work on the weekends. And that particular weekend we have a Stampin' Up event, so I won't even be at my computer. So pop this out. Now the second pass, I'm going to try to get some of these. Now it may fall apart, but that's okay because the second time I used them, I cut it apart anyway. So if it doesn't stay together, that's okay. I'm gonna do it this way. And then I have this flower, I guess is the only one that didn't go through this time, last time. So let's get it to go. You don't ever want your dies to go on top of each other, but that's okay. That's about all of the actual green we have to have. That can go there. And then we have our tag. Let's put it over here so we get this really nice variation of color when it goes through. And then we have our two butterflies. So let's get one that's going to be this nice bright yellow. And then let's get this one to be orange. That looks pretty good. Once you've rolled everything through, you kind of have this kind of left and all the pieces. You could get more out of it if you want. Then, you know, we're going to use specialty paper, and I just wanted to have some kind of solid to kind of ground some of it. So I didn't use this flower. So this is our In Color shimmer paper, and that's papaya. And I have two of those layered together, and then this is the evergreen, and I have three of these. And I'm just gonna run it through in one pass, because anytime you have thinner paper, you can do it with designer series paper. You can get 2 or 3 sheets of, depending on how detailed your dies are. Cardstock, you can almost always get 2, unless you have super detailed dies. But these are fine doing this many. And when you do a lot of classes and you have a lot of people in your classes, you quickly learn how many you can do in one pass. Because if you have 100 people and they need 2 of each die, now I am gonna stop right here, and then I'm gonna put my hand right here so it doesn't pop up. Because if you wanna do a back pass, then you don't want this to move. And then I'm gonna roll it back. But I quickly discover how many I can do in a pass, and see those cut just fine when I'm gonna do a class, so I can roll as few. Well, quick secret, I don't do most of the die cutting, my husband does, but we want to do as little as possible. But obviously you want it to cut. See, there's absolutely no problem with 3. I could probably get 5, maybe even 6 of those in one pass. So we've got those, and then we've got the 2 of these. I could get 3, I just didn't need 3 for my card. But you could easily do 3 of those. Just make sure if you're gonna roll it back that you don't let them move, because if it pops and they move, then they're just ruined. So now this is where our 2 folders come in. So this one this has been like my folder of choice the last few months. I just keep using it and using it and using it. Well, before I do that, real quick, let's move this out of the way so I can do this. So here's our little tag that we ran through. I'm gonna grab the Thinking of You that comes in this set and my evergreen. Just go ahead and stamp this in a very awkward position, but then I won't have to get my folder back out. So just put the Thinking of You on here. Now we'll be able to roll these through, because I am going to, I mean, these are pretty, aren't they gorgeous? All these paper ones, but we're gonna take it up a notch when we put them through the embossing folder. That one needs it. So this is the Tasteful Textile. It's gonna lay in here. The fun thing is you can do in both directions, because if some of them are upside down, then it just puts the print in. See, this one's upside down. It just gives it a different print. And you can kind of overlap them. They don't have to be perfect. Do this one this way. Do this one right side up. Don't forget your butterflies, and don't forget your little banner. There we go. Just pop that closed. And wait till you see how beautiful they are. It looks like now we're putting kind of fabric flowers on the front of our card. And it just takes one roll through. So if you're doing the retreat and you do the bundle that has all 3 sets that come in your thing, then you get to pick a free folder. Because whenever you get the largest bundle of a retreat, you get something free, and that's what's free this time. But look how pretty those are. Aren't they gorgeous? Let me get one of these big ones. Just beautiful. So, so pretty. And you can see the ones that went through the other way, the pattern just pops the opposite direction. It just gives a little bit of interest. Everybody in the world won't notice, but you will. It will make you happy. I'm not going to do the shimmer vellum because they're pretty. You could if you wanted, because the vellum through it is pretty as well. I'm just going to leave those in that folder. And then I'm going to go back and take this. It's maybe a tad bit damp, but it'll be okay. And then this is one of our new folders in the January to June mini catalog. It is, I think it's honeycomb, beehive. It's one of the two. I don't remember the name. It'll be down below the video. I'm not super worried if it's not all the way dry and it smears a little bit, because we're going for a messy vintage kind of background. So in a perfect world it would be dry, but if it's not all the way dry, we'll live. Oh, not bad. Isn't that pretty? So you can see how it totally mutes that background. Now we just have to put this together, and it goes together really fast. Now here's a couple of tips. These, which people in my classes know, if you're supposed to have two of something and it looks like you have one, it's because they're stuck together because they ran through. So if you just kind of bend them, then they pop apart. Let's get those apart. Pop these apart. So I'm going to take these and my adhesive, and I'm just going to put a bunch of adhesive down here in a pretty wide swatch, and we're going to have to end up adding more. So I'm going to start with green, because I want this green to be in the back to kind of anchor it. And then we'll do one of the papayas in that layer. Then we'll pull these down here and just kind of build your thing. It's super easy, and because we're using the seal, we can move it if we need to. And once you feel you don't have any sticky left, then just do another roll over the top of it. And see, that one kind of got cut off, but that's okay because our tag is going to go down here. We're going to do some more green. And see, these are my little short ones, but again, they're okay because I can put some adhesive a little further up. That one didn't get any adhesive. There's some right there. I want to make sure that I picked my prettiest one last time. It's this one this time, just the way the colors fell, and it's the lowest one. I want that one to end up being in the front. I'm gonna take this one. Last time I had this one broke apart in two, so I have two, and you can see it on the card. You could cut one of these if you wanted, because I was able to put two out the edges. You can use glue dots if you want, but I really like this, and it's gonna seal them all together in a second when we put the tag on it. So super pretty, isn't that pretty? We'll put our butterflies on in just a second. When the card's done, that kind of helps us know where to put them. Now, when you have tags like this, there's several different ways that you can attach them. I'm going to take the bumblebee gingham, and I'm going to do a faux way, because this is the easiest way to attach them, and it doesn't require having any kind of fancy bow to get it on there. So slide this through. So you want to make sure it's flat back here, so flip that around. So you don't want it to be wedged up in there. Get it flat like that. Have just enough that it's going to wrap around the card, so that's plenty. I've lost my scissors. I just had them on the table before we started. Here they are. I put my cut and press machine right on top of them. Now flip this around, and we're gonna put, on this particular card, we're gonna put a little bit more adhesive than what we might on another card because we wanna seal all those in here. So on the ribbon and then on either side. And then lay this on here. And then press it down. And then that's gonna help keep all those in there. So now they're pretty secure on there. Turn that around. Add them. I'm gonna go ahead and stick it to my card since that's sticky back there. Isn't that gorgeous? And we're not even done. So we have that. Now, I like for this to have a bow, but sometimes it's a little bit tricky to get them on here. So we're just gonna tie a bow with what's on here. Just a little one. And just pretend you're tying your shoes. Don't overthink it. Just a bow. Just like that. Trim it off, and don't worry about that being a little bit, don't keep untying it because you've used too much on that end. Just trim it. Your time's worth something, and so is your stress level. This is supposed to be fun. Now add a little bit of adhesive right here, and then add the bow right there, and then people think that it was some kind of sorcery that had you be able to tie that bow right there. Believe me, because people ask me. They're like, how did you get that bow tied right there? And it's because it's fake. But it looks great, super cute. Now you have your two butterflies. So the first thing you want to do is, there's a little bit of sticky that's out there. So one of my small butterfly, I'm going to put it there on my other card. I didn't have that. But since I do on this one, that's just a place that I'm going to put a butterfly. And then on this one, you can kind of decide. I kind of like right there. This one I'm going to use a mini dimensional, so it has a little bit of height to it. Kind of compete with all those flowers up there. There we go. And then one last little embellishment. I have these because they match. The hexagon matches, see, perfectly to the little folder that I used. So I'm going to get these pink ones because, again, they match the colors of the paper up there. So grab one big one. My other one, they were kind of spread out, but my butterflies aren't here. So just a design element, I'm going to put them all over on this side, on this card. So sometimes you got to switch it up if you layered things a little bit differently. And so easy and so beautiful. This is a card that you need to give to somebody that, you know, really appreciates them, because they're going to put this one on display. Here's my other one. And look, as it's been sitting here, it's I have a little bit of a breeze in my office because the wind is coming through, and it just has it's a card that moves even though we didn't have to do anything to cause it to move, because the only thing that's holding it down is the things that you've glued to the stem. So if you're interested in joining my online retreat, these are the kind of projects that we'll do. They will all have at least one designer series paper and one specialty paper, or 2 or 3 designer series papers, or 2 specialty papers. The paper's going to be the focus, because the 3 bundles that I've chosen all have fabulous dies. We'll use the stamps too, but there will be a lot of really pretty things like this. You saw the other cards that I have. This isn't one of them, and 2, these stamps. Remember, the bundles are on sale 20% off through the end of March. If you have any questions, I'd love to answer them. You can subscribe to my channel and to my email list. If you get one on my email list, then hop over to my blog, and there's a little pop-up thing that they'll be there for you. Have a great day. Bye.